Hey, hi, and hello. I'm Troy the Art Boy, and today I'm going to be designing yet another unconfirmed experiment from Lilo and Stitch, this series. Just like my last video, I'm going to be going over a lengthy list of how this project is organized. If you've seen other videos of mine and would rather skip that, then please jump to this point in the video. I'm going to give you guys a second to move on ahead if you so choose. Still here? Great. During the credits of Leroy and Stitch the movie, there's an official list of every experiment along with their corresponding number. I deferred that list and worked with a friend of mine over on Instagram, their account's name is Lilo's Library, to brainstorm on the function and one true place given to each experiment based solely on both their number and their names. Now, I will say I don't just pull these functions out of nowhere. There is a general guideline for how this project is organized, and that is as follows. First up are experiments numbered 000 through 099, and those are going to be categorized as being the household helpers. Up next are numbers 100 through 199, which are going to be the civic disturbances. Next, experiments number 200 through 299 are the technological and scientific experiments. Numbers 300 through 399 are the psychological experiments. Experiment number 400 through 499 are the militaristic experiments. Numbers 500 through 599, which are my personal favorites, are the elemental manipulators. And lastly, experiments 600 onward would all be the doomsday experiments, like Stitch. Given both the name and the number, I can get to work. Today's cousin is number 027, Plushy. Just a quick heads up, this video is going to have a lot of repeated information from the last video, as the two of them, and next week's video as well, I guess, all kind of go together, so please just be aware of that. With that out of the way, this cousin is actually part of a trio, well, sort of. A part in this project and I thought it would be a fun twist to have multiple experiments all activated at once in the same episode. Those experiments would be numbers 026, 027, and 028. We've seen multiple experiments being activated at the same time before, like Yin and Yang and Bonnie and Clyde, for example. But with three cousins, I imagine the episode might need to be a tad longer than the usual 20-minute read time. That way, each cousin kind of has their own time to shine. Since this video is about experiment 027, Plushy, that's pretty much the only experiment I'm going to be focusing on here. And no matter how hard I thought about what to do for his design, there was never any doubt in my mind that Plushy would serve the role of a real-life stuffed animal. If you've seen my other videos, you might have noticed that I generally try to avoid giving these experiments the most obvious functions based on their names. I don't know, I think it's a pretty fun challenge. Here, however, no, it wasn't exactly the case. If it works, it works. Both the design and the function here are really fun, at least I think so. But for the sake of staying organized and on track, let's just focus on the design and design inspirations behind this little creature. I grew up with a lot of animals in my house, like too many animals in my house, like just so many animals in my house. When you're a kid, it can be fun sometimes to be surrounded by a ton of pets. Some furry, others maybe have feathers, others scaly, and maybe even some slimy. When you're young, you don't really think much of it. Looking back, one of the many, many downsides of filling your house to the brim with animals is that it's hard to get to know them all individually. Sometimes the connections you form with your pets becomes sort of shallow and one-dimensional, I guess. Adding to that, you start to forget what so many of them look like and what their names were. It's tragic. For me, however, there were a rare few that really made an impression with me. There was a rabbit that I had throughout high school and middle school. Her name was Helga. She was small, maybe 3 pounds or so. I remember her fur being soft, and I also remember that she really liked being held. Um, she was a breeder rabbit known as a Dutch rabbit, which usually just means she had a specific set of white markings on her face, neck, back, and shoulders. Um, and she had colored ears, cheeks, and hindquarters. Here's a picture of what they look like. You've probably seen pictures of this breeder rabbit before. They're pretty common. Some of my older viewers with a keen eye might remember that Blockbuster Video actually had a gray Dutch rabbit named Carl, I think, in an old Super Bowl commercial or something back in the early 2000s. I was pretty young back then, but I think about that rabbit and the guinea pig that they had often, perhaps too often. Anyways, Dutch rabbits can come in a wide assortment of colors. Helga was black and white, but they can also come in gray and white, or chocolate brown and white, or yellow and white, just to name a few. Although I was tempted to make Experiment 027 black and white to more closely resemble my childhood rabbit, I ultimately decided yellow and white was more fitting. I think of it more of a homage than a direct representation. As far as rabbits go, Dutch rabbits have smaller ears, a trait that I exaggerated here for Plushy, and of course, they have a fluffy little tail that I used here as well. I played around with the size of the nose at first. I really wanted something tiny and more, I don't know, I guess rabbit like, but it kind of just suited the face better to make the nose two, three, four, 5 times bigger than what I initially had in mind. For the nose color, I really wanted it to be blue, but purple just kind of worked better, so that's what I went with instead. A decision that I'm still happy with, by the way. I think as an artist, it's important not to always let your own preconceived notions of how you want a drawing to turn out get in the way of how maybe the drawing should turn out. By that I mean, yes, if you're drawing a portrait or something like that, then just draw that, go for it. But when doing something more off the cuff and goofier cartoon sketches, start with something, anything, and just follow that to the end. So many of these experiments were just kind of happy accidents. I had broad ideas of what I was looking for, but I was also willing to change those ideas on a dime if a better one showed itself. Admittedly, this has led to more duds than successes, but when something works, it works. Now, for the function, plushies are obviously soft toys that people might collect and own because they're cute, but specifically as they relate to children, they have a secondary function to pacify them, which is to say that stuffed animals keep them occupied and soothed. That is also true for 027 here. I imagine he emits a soft, warm glow while being handled by children, and it helps to kind of keep him calm. What's more is that despite their size, Plushy is impossibly durable and is able to withstand being bitten, pulled, stomped, thrown, and just about everything else a child could possibly put them through while playing. And here he is. Experiment 027 would debut in the episode named Birthday Bash Blunder. Plush would be activated when Giggles the Clown loses control of the 3 pods that they were juggling, causing them all to find their way to a leaking hose. The episode synopsis would be as follows. Twin locals, James, or Jimmy, and Latoya are sharing the birthday like they do every year, and they invite both Lilo and Stitch. Things quickly go awry when 3 experiments are simultaneously activated, causing mass mayhem for all the partygoers. The indestructible, toy like experiment causes turmoil between the twins. Plickly, Jumba, and Nani decide to take themselves to a stress-free spa day, while Gantu attempts to utilize a new secret experiment catching weapon. Plushy would find his one true place with the twins, James and Latoya. Let me know what you guys think. Just one more thing. The person who's been working with me on this project used to work with someone else to do basically the same thing a couple years back, except they never finished. If you spent any time online looking up unconfirmed Lilo and Stitch experiments, I'm sure you've seen their work. Their name is Sketch Lampoon, and I'm bringing them up because I'm playing this sort of fun game where I look up other popular fan designs after I finish my own. It amazes me how two people can have such wildly different interpretations for the exact same prompt. And besides that, the Lilo and Stitch fan art community is just pretty small and insular, so I kind of want to just spread the love. So be sure to go check them out as well. Okay, and here's what they came up with. We very clearly had kind of the same idea about making them a fluffy stuffed animal inspired experiment, which I guess, given the name, is pretty obvious. And I'm a pretty big fan of giving them bright blue eyes. I think it's a lot of fun. 10 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, or honestly, even if you didn't, be sure to like and subscribe. Every like, follow, and comment, it really does help a lot. So please, please, please do that if you guys can. And I made a Patreon. You guys can go support me over there as well. And my Instagram is Troy the Art Boy. You can follow me over there. I already have a bunch of other designs already uploaded over there, along with just other artwork. And while you're over there, go check out my partner at Leo's Library for more information on these experiments. We have some episode breakdowns there as well. We have a lot of the same art that's here, but some new art that maybe you haven't seen before. And yeah, so please, please, please go support us over there as well. And thank you guys so much for watching. You will see me in the next one. Bye.